Hey guys, coming at you with another teletherapy session here. So one of the things that I want to talk quickly about is the ball, just as a reminder, because you know we like to do at least some work on the ball. Captain America here is going to help us out. But I'm going to talk real quickly through the positions, but I would encourage you to spend about 20 minutes on the ball, if at all possible today, okay? So easiest position, propping up on those elbows, laying flat on the belly, all right? From there, it gets harder when we go into sitting. And remember, hand placement is critical, okay? The higher the hands are, the less work that baby's having to do. But the lower the hands are, you can see, I mean, even Captain America got a little wobbly there. So you want to be able to work your hands lower and lower to where you're basically supporting on top of the thighs. As far as rocking and bouncing goes, remember you can be bouncing all throughout because that's really good for those joints to feel that compression with every bounce. And then with directional movement, you can go in all the directions. So we obviously do front and back and side to side, but you can also go clockwise, you can go counterclockwise, you can go at diagonal motions. And every time that they're having to fight to keep their body upright against the movement of the ball, then they're having to work all the different muscles to do that, okay? So this is excellent work. From here, we can transition to 4-point. So this is your pre-crawling, your hands and knees activities, okay? So one of the things that I wanted to talk about here is you want to try to block those elbows and keep them straight. So if you need to use your body to block their feet and make sure that their knees stay tucked underneath them, and then use your thumbs at their elbows to help hold and keep those arms extended. Another thing to pay attention to whenever their hands are on the ball, you want their palms open and flat on the ball. You don't want fisting, you don't want thumbs tucked in or anything like that. Best case scenario is the hands are open, the thumbs are out, flat on top of that ball there, okay? Same thing with all the directional movement here. You can also hold a favorite toy here while they're on their hands and knees if you're not having to block the arms as much, and once they start getting a little bit more stable, hold up a favorite toy, move it to this side, have them turning their head from side to side, okay? This helps with some reflex integration as well. So from there, you can go a little bit trickier with having them come up on into tall kneeling here, okay? Same thing can be done with the toy here. This is where you can start, since they're not having to use their hands anymore, you can start doing patty cake, you can do the wheels on the bus. Any movements to imitate hand motions too will be good as well. They can play peekaboo, all the things right here up on top of their knees, okay? And then you can switch back to holding and then going back to the rocking and the bouncing, okay? Then you're going to transition up into what we call half kneel, and then you can block their knee out with your fingers and push back on the knee, and that is going to take them from this half kneeling to this, half kneeling to the standing position. So then we have them standing on top of the ball. If you need knee immobilizers to give you an extra set of hands here, if they're crouching down or collapsing down on you, let me know. I can get you knee immobilizers if you don't already have them. And then, again, where your hands are control how much of the body the baby's having to work. So you've got your hands way up here. You notice Captain America is strong and steady, not having to do a thing. But as soon as I lower down to his legs, boom. So he's responsible now for holding all of this upright, okay? So that's something to consider whenever you're working on these activities. Okay, so the next stuff that I'm going to show you, like I said, try to spend about 20 minutes on the ball in all those different positions, okay? The next things that I'm going to show you, I would like for you to work on the floor, but for video's sake, I'm going to show it on top of the ball, just because of the angle where the camera is and all that kind of good stuff. So one of the things that often get missed, but that's super important, is what we call side prop sitting. So what you want to do is kind of angle the legs to where the knees kind of have the body angling in this direction, okay? So you're going to kind of put the legs back behind. This is how we transition from sitting around to crawling, okay? So what we want to work on is what they call side prop sitting. So this is where you're going to put both hands kind of at an angle, but you got to get the feet out of the way so that the body can turn, okay? So this is side prop sitting, okay? You can do this here on the floor. Again, don't necessarily try to do this on top of the ball. This is going to be easier done on the floor. And then same thing, you want to go to the opposite side. Now, one way that you can do this, if they have a favorite toy, is you're going to put that toy at a diagonal on the floor, and so their natural inclination, if I can get Santa to balance here, is going to be to reach at that diagonal angle for the toy, and then you're just going to help kind of bring the legs back a little bit, okay? And then they can just kind of sit inside prop sit and play with their toy, okay? And then same thing, you want to always work both sides equally. So you're going to swap over and then help here, okay? So it's still just a version of sitting, but now they're side prop sitting, okay? And then like I said, that's going to be able to get you to transition from the side prop sitting position and flip them all on over. See how easy that, I mean, I know I'm working with a doll, but that will help them start getting used to that transitional movement from sitting all the way around. And you see how naturally this arm is just falling over into place to be in a weight-bearing position when you're helping control the legs and the trunk. That can be very easily done by a toy of interest. And then you can have them here on their hands and knees, okay? So just work on switching from being in sitting all the way over to side prop and then eventually on over to the hands and knees, okay? Now once you're on the hands and knees, if we're not crawling yet, you're going to rock front back because they start rocking on their hands and knees before they start actually progressing forward, okay? So that's something else you can do once you get them on their hands and knees is rock. Now, same thing can be said for those knee immobilizers that I talked about when we were standing. You can put knee immobilizers on them in standing, but you can use those same knee immobilizers on their arms whenever they're working on holding a 4-point position. Because if they will not straighten out their elbows on their own, put those same leg immobilizers on their elbows, and then that will again give you an extra set of hands to where you're not having to lock out the elbow. And you can just work on being able to position and to rock and maybe dangle toys. It just gives you an extra set of hands, which, let's be honest, when we're doing therapy, like, we need about 8 arms to be able to do everything that we need to do, right? So there's that. Another thing that I wanted to mention was when you're working on sitting, to kind of give you some space between you and the baby, one of the things that you can work with is a rolled up towel. And I'm going to show you different ways that you can use this rolled up towel, okay? Now, for sitting on the floor, you can wrap the towel around their chest and underneath their arms, and then you're guiding their sitting with the tails of the towel, okay? So you can kind of do weight shift activity with the towel. You can rock them side to side. You can cause them to have their protective reactions, which are super important when we're first learning how to sit. So they can reach out and they can catch themselves with this arm. And same thing when they go to the other side. So this towel is really good. If you're working on trying to get a good press-up motion with those arms, whether they're on their belly or whether they're in 4-point, you can take the same towel rolled up, same place, underneath their chest. And at first, you can just have it rolled up to kind of give a little extra support if they're on their elbows. But then you can lift up a little to give a little extra cueing without your hands on them to really try to start weight bearing through those hands. Again, with or without those immobilizers on will be fine. So just let me know if you need any of those immobilizers, and I can get you some from Shriners, okay? So the towel can be good in sitting, in 4-point, and whenever you're trying to work on what they call prone on elbows, or pushing up in prone, which is just on their belly there. So I think that's it for the basic of the basic positioning and transitioning with our little bitties. Of course, you know that tummy time is absolutely critical, and then putting things that are of interest to them just outside of their reach so that they can really start working on that forward reaching, which is, of course, our precursor to that army crawling. So I hope you found this helpful. Text me, call me with any questions, and I will walk you through anything that you need help with. And I can't wait to see y'all again in person soon. Okay? Have a good day. Bye.